Well, it's time to dip our toes into something a little bit different. I really enjoy me some Babymetal, and this one is it's an interesting one. Yeah. So let's just dive right in. Metal Galaxy by Babymetal, because it's all in caps, and like half of the tracks off of this album are all in caps. So, Babymetal is a Japanese kind of pop idol band a little bit. I know I'm going to get ripped apart for all of the misinformation that I'm going to be spreading in this album, so I'm going to do my best. I guess they're considered a Japanese kawaii metal band. The band is currently made up of two lead vocalists. We've got Suzuka Nakamoto, or Su Metal, and Moa Kikuchi as Moa Metal. Before there was actually a third Babymetal vocalist of Yu Mizuno, who has left the band. She is no longer within the band, so they're kind of, before they were a trio, now they're a duo, with Suzuka being the main vocalist on here. And the thing that got them really big and claim to fame was that they were kind of like little girls that were doing this metal music. And that caught my attention for sure. And within their last album of Metal Resistance, which I really liked, they had some amazing technical chops kind of helping them out, writing some of the tracks, providing the guitar works and whatnot on there. Some of the individuals that were from the big power metal, such as like Dragon Force, found their way onto that album. And this album has a few, but nowhere kind of near that same effect. And it is kind of found with on that album. And I will admit right off the get-go, I didn't like this one quite as much as Metal Resistance. I feel like Metal Galaxy it's still a fun time, and it still has a lot of really fun aspects to it. But it does fall short of some of the guiding posts that the band had created with the second album of Metal Resistance. They're still experimenting, and they're still trying different things, and even though this is being helmed by the two lead vocalists, you can still see the big corporate machine behind them kind of turning the gears and cogs within this. I do think that now that they're getting a little bit older, some of their vocal works aren't quite as cutesy or as fun as they were before, which in some ways, I don't know, in some ways it matures the album a little bit, but it also kind of loses a little bit of that edge and novelty that we found within the first two albums of theirs. But they are still playing around with some of the different styles. One track that comes to mind is Shanty Shanty Shanty, and providing a little bit more of like the Middle Eastern Arabic kind of style. We've got a little bit more of like the sitar. The singing styles is very similar to that type of vocal work, something that you would find within like a Bollywood movie or whatnot. It's just, there's a lot more metal aspect to it as well. The metal itself is still serviceable. It doesn't quite go quite as far as like the power metal, outside of maybe the last track of Arcada, which is probably my favorite track off of the album. Arcada does a great job of utilizing some of those techniques that we found within Metal Resistance. It's got that power metal feel, it's got that power metal oomph to it that I really liked. It's bumping. It's also one of the more memorable tracks off of it. It does have a lot of those harmonizations as well with the two main vocalists. But some of these tracks, even though they're trying to experiment and they've got some really fun guest stars on it, they don't quite work all that well. Like Oh Majana, it's got Joachim Broden on this track. I like his vocal works, but it feels like, if anybody knows Lazy Town, it feels like something that Robbie Rotten would sing, like as one of his kind of get ups and go. It almost reminds me of like Where Number One, the big meme that kind of went on with that. It feels pirate induced, and it's a little cringe at times as well when I'm listening to it. But the other track that I really like is Papa Ya, and this features F Hero on it. I really like how it influences like each kind of style that the band is going towards. Like, it definitely has that J-pop aspect on it, a little bit of anime feel to it, while still being very much a metal track. And this was kind of emulating what they were capturing within Metal Resistance, bringing forth a little bit more fun within it. But I also feel like some of these tracks are just pop idol tracks from J-pop that just have a little bit of metal within it. This is found within Night Night Burn and Brand New Day. And Brand New Day has two guest stars, Tim Henson as well as Scott LePage. And these two tracks just feel like I don't know, like an ending sequence of an anime that just happens to have a lot of metal onto it. Like, it doesn't have a whole lot of personality found within these. Like, especially with Brand New Day, which it has 2 guest stars on it, I just don't feel all that excited about it. Another track that has a guest star was Distortion with Alicia White Glues. This is a really good track. It's very heavy. It's really powerhoused. It's got a lot of energy on it, and it has a little bit of a memorable hook to it, like the whole da 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 da. Like the rhythm style is very catchy. It's very memorable. It's easy to kind of hang on to. But at the end of the day, it still kind of feels like it's less of like a fun novelty that I want to come back to and experience again, and more of just a regular kind of a novelty where after the regular flavor it's kind of gone. Another one that kind of has that same kind of anime outro intro kind of thing is Dada Dance, the second track, and it also has another guest star of Tak Matsumoto. It does a fine job of like being a really fun second track and keeping that energy up, and the energy is pretty solid throughout the whole runtime of this album. Either the tracks kind of get lost in the fold, or they're a big track that I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. So yeah, I guess in the end, this album was a little bit of a disappointment, especially with how high I really enjoyed Metal Resistance. And I tried my best not to compare the two, because I do see that the band has had to go through a little bit of a change up just with the extra vocalist leaving. And that was something that I definitely felt there weren't quite as much vocalization harmonizations. There were a few, and that was found within, say, like Starlight or Shine. But even with these few tracks that have a lot of fun vocalizations, it really needed that third person. In the end, I would probably skip this one. It doesn't have quite enough for me to really come back to. The standout moments were ones that stood out because I didn't quite like it. And outside of Arcadia, the last track, there wasn't a whole lot to really keep me coming back for more. So yeah, that's about it for Metal Galaxy. What did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? How does it compare to their past discography in your mind? Let me know about all of that by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.